like no other. Raising the future seeds, trying to give them what they need. It ain't easy. It takes a village to raise up our babies. But hello and welcome to my channel, Energy by Jessica. This portal of light and divine communication. It's about the moment, inspiration, and just spreading our love to the world. And I am just so honored and happy to be here with Sunshine. Sunshine is pretty much a walking vessel of creativity, of soul expression, of heart-based work. You're a singer-songwriter, but also an educator for the community. You are a storyteller, bringing back myths from our ancestors that I think is so important. In addition to that, I mean, I know you've graced many amazing stages in London and pretty much everywhere that have been really seen by the public and the world. So I do appreciate your time here, and I'm excited to see how everything unravels. And yeah, I mean, this for me is walking this creative path. You are just the embodiment, I think, of a woman that walks with this knowing. Can you talk a little bit about what that is for you, actually?
Knowing intuition is really important for me. So I'm actually part of a community called Ori, and it is from the Yoruba word for the seat of your soul, which is essentially your intuition that guides you. And there have been moments in my life where that intuition was not listened to. And I think if you don't nurture that fire, it dies. Nothing ever dies completely, but I think the voice becomes weaker and it gets really hard to walk with a clear vision about where you have to go. So when your intuition is in tune, it just means that every step is a prayer and that you have full trust because you know you're in the right place in the right time. And so there isn't even an effort that needs to be made because actually you are just being part now. You found your notes in the cosmos, you found your place in the song, and so it's just a case now of experiencing it, and that is like freaking joy. And I think heaven is a state of mind, and I think actually that might be what heaven is. But I don't know everything. I don't know, I'm still learning.
But that's so beautiful because that's what I was talking on the last podcast that, obviously through the layers of conditioning and our society, we have kind of like quieted that other sense of our intuition, which is actually our guide. And through like just in general energy work or going back out into nature is like how we can start to re-communicate, open the channels to kind of walk this new path. And I think especially now in our society, in our world, it's time to reawaken it, right?
Mamma mia. But the thing is, I think it's always been a case to reawaken it. And I just, even as crazy as the world is, I don't think it is doom and despair. I think regardless of the play that we see before us, the journey has always been the same from the very beginning, where we are born and we're going to die. And this is a journey. And it's really about those pearls of wisdom that you get from speaking to other people, from being humbled by everyone's story. And just this moment, you speak about the moment and how important it is to be present. And hallelujah to doing that every moment, because tomorrow is not promised. What grace to know you lived so fully, so when it is time to go, there are zero regrets. Like, I was freaking here. I really did. I don't even need to go back. I don't even like reminisce because I'm just like, I was there through all of it, so it's okay.
Exactly. Well, and I think like we were talking before about healing, I think from my personal experience, because whatever trauma that I through my childhood was healing, I kind of did disconnect a little bit of that knowing. But I feel like for anyone going through trauma or going through a certain process, if we can open that channel to actually express ourselves, to feed it, because there's obviously a healthier version of how to process and to be fully there. Like I'm now at this point in my life saying like, ah, I'm connected. I'm so grateful, God, I'm here, I'm doing it. And I mean, no regrets. It was all a process. But had I done that 20 years ago, I would have been, in this place. I mean, it's not even about that, but it's
like now as we have these conversations, as you're saying about the sixth sense or intuition, or just in general opening these fields, providing that as a tool for healing ourselves, right? Or like helping communities and such with this.
Yeah, we all have trauma. And I work with an organization called London Rhymes, where we work with mothers who have like postnatal depression. As part of that, we do a lot of trauma training, and it's enlightening to remember that as soon as you're born, you've got trauma. And the whole journey through adolescence, this is why myths were there, because with every part of your journey, there is going to be a trauma, there's going to be a learning, there's going to be a breaking open. In the same way, a caterpillar has to turn into this goo in the cocoon before it then becomes a butterfly. That journey is already fucking hard. I mean, and then talk about all of the
Mhm.
other like traumas that come with it. So yeah, so regardless of which like what class you're in, or what color skin you have, or what culture you've come from, there is going to be a hero's journey within you. There's going to be something that you had to break free from in order to follow your own divine calling, your own map, your own seed's purpose, because two seeds can be standing next to each other, but one's lavender and one's rose. Do you know what I mean? And they grow beautifully together, but they're not the same. So your journey, my journey, we've all got this beautiful, and it's amazing to see what flower you're going to be. We don't know, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, let's see. I surrendered to this growth. It's always going to be beautiful.
Absolutely. And you think also just like in terms of like a global scale, I mean, I feel like I was always intimidated of the arts in a sense because I'm like, I'm not that person. But I'm learning that that was just because I didn't water that seed, right? That like now, especially in a time of so much revolution in the world, that we can contrast that by awakening our own frequency to our own creative power, which does something in a quantum level, and recognizing that. I mean, would you, as such an amazing artist, say that we all are creative? We have
Yeah,
these abilities?
Joseph Beuys is one of my favorite artists, and he says that everyone's an artist, and it's for the same reason that we all have trauma. As long as you've got trauma, you've got some transforming to do, you've got some reflection to do. And I just, I think gone are the days where it needs to be that you're a Van Gogh to be an artist. There are infinite ways to show your creativity, but it's just about standing in the unknown, whether it's a blank canvas, whether it's something on your Logic where you're going to be making some music, or whether it's standing with some pipe cleaner and just, and a glue gun, but just challenging yourself to not know and see what comes. And you'll be amazed, because it humbles me to remember that it's not me that's actually making anything, that when you surrender, you do become a vessel. And in the same way, this podcast is also such a thing where, of course, there are intentions that are made, but those seeds were planted. Those dreams came from somewhere. And I don't poo poo whenever I get a vision or a dream or something that makes me feel really happy. That's like, oh, okay, then maybe I follow that. And it's lovely to have nothing and then be like, oh, I could do this. Yeah, that would make me so happy. And that would actually make the world a beautiful garden, like.
Mm, that's so beautiful. And what do you think? I mean, for somebody that's just starting off in general, like how do we follow through on those like good feelings? Like, what do you feel about fear? Because you're always on stage. I mean, that is like really such a block for many of us, many people, but it's like what's on the other side is magic, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I am quite an extreme character in that when I'm on stage or when I'm holding space, I'm an extrovert. And there's this persona which is, and I can't help it. If there's music or something, then something gets turned on and it's like, okay. But then in my other side, I'm totally introverted and I don't really talk to, like I'm very much, I hold space for myself, and if a conversation happens, I know it's divinely, guided when I bump into people. But I've become quite, I don't know how to say, I'm very sensitive, and so I have to be very careful with my boundaries and with my energy now, especially as I'm giving so much in terms of my art. So whenever I do get time to myself, it's very important, because alone time is time with God, and that's the time where I get to refill. So outwardly, I give as much energy and love as I can, even to the bus driver, the person in Tesco. Like there's presence there, but there's also an understanding that there's a sacred energy that needs to be just for me.
Mm, that's beautiful. That's good to know that, we can be both, right? We can express ourselves and also be shy. Like we can have like so many nerves, but actually live like off this energy of doing something that scares us.
Yeah, absolutely. And the energy will just come, and we interpret that energy as fear. I used to interpret it as fear, but it's a mindset. Actually, energy is energy. And as an artist, you become then an alchemist. And so I'm grateful for any energy that comes my way, because it means it's something to be transformed. And that's better than being dead, where you've got no energy going through you at all. So hey, I'm alive. I've got this feeling, and this is excitement. This can be excitement because I'm alive. Yeah. And that goes with everything. Even if someone throws hate at you, actually, an alchemist is able to even see it with the eyes of love and still be grateful. Like,
Oh
that's
my
still
God,
energy.
totally.
That means I've got work to do on this planet, because there are frequencies that are constantly needing to be refined slightly so they can remember their greatness, you know.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. That is so true. And I think that it's so important to not take it personal, right? Because like talking about energy in general, like being sensible, or anybody can feel, energy. Well, maybe more, some are more in tune, but to recognize that when we're in our light and our intentions are pure, then whatever energy is just sending it outwards. Like this conversation about energy is so beautiful and real, right? That we are this quantum energy field, and that everything is connected, and that with our intention we can also send people light,
Yeah.
even when it comes to us as the opposite.
Oh God, yeah, I pray. I always pray for people, and anyone that shows me some, or when I see it on the street or anything, because I've been there. That space of darkness is a horrible place to live.
Mm.
It's, for me, we were talking about what heaven might be, that feeling of alignment and walking in tune. And so I think hell is also a state of mind that we have all traversed through. And so who's got envy for someone who's living like that? Even if they have all of the riches in the world, I wouldn't want to live in such a dark place without love. I couldn't. I couldn't. That's the whole reason for being here. Like, both is okay. Both is okay, but not without love. Always, always have love as your baseline. Come on. And like the Pope's funeral today, like I was weeping for this morning, even though I'm not even Catholic. But what he stood for, Mamma Mia, Mamma
Absolutely.
Mia.
Exactly. And like, what do you think? I mean, how can, in this moment in time, we radiate more love? Like, do you intentionally, like in the world, I know that you probably see a lot of contrast in London too, right? And just in the world in general, um, we can activate our love frequency through what we do, how we speak, how we engage, right? I mean, you're very much community oriented. So is this like I mean, for somebody that says, okay, I don't know what to do, I feel stuck, right? I mean, that's why I talk about creativity, because it's an activation of doing something, of energy forward instead of retract, contracting, and fear and all of these type of things. So, yeah, what would you say to someone who's like, how do I get started?
Yeah, it's always the first step. We were talking just before you turned on the podcast about the first step. It's like you're always going to be a beginner. Always, when you start something, there has to be a moment where it begins. And what a joy to begin a journey and to do it in a vulnerable space where you know nothing. It's humbling. It makes you appreciate the work that other people have done, and it puts you on track. And there's nothing worse, I think, than driving 500 miles per hour, but in the wrong direction. Like, come on,
Yeah.
if you're driving 2 miles per hour, but you're going in the right direction, that is a lot better. And you can pick up the space, the pace as the momentum builds, and waters open for you, because that's what happens as you go. Doors open, and there are synchronicities, and there are signs. And I don't just mean like superstitious signs, like, okay, there are two birds there, and that means something. I mean the signs where it's very clear that this is a miracle. And I believe in miracles. I walk on miracles every day. It's a miracle that I'm here now. It's a miracle, the work that I do. There's a humility there, because I know this is actually not me. And as the journey progresses, you become simply a vessel, simply a vessel. And you're
Absolutely.
now doing the work of something higher than you. There's no ego here, because
Right.
this is the work. Yeah.
This is absolutely the work. Absolutely. And like you say, the path opens up, and it is divine intervention. And divinity is something that I feel that it should be talked about more, because in a sense, due to, the speed of the technological advancements, there's also our divinity that is being suppressed. And this is our divine power, our creativity, our imagination. In a time of such revolution, we have the power to reimagine. And it should be top of mind. It's nice to have these discussions to just say, okay, am I imagining a new world, or am I stuck in the past? Am I in creation modus, or am I just falling? You know what I mean? So yeah, divinity, this beauty that dwells in all of us. It's
Yes.
amazing.
It's hard because I guess there's been a really conscious effort by the powers that be to make sure that words like divinity become, kind of something that's apart from us. But there are those moments where you watch something where they zoom in, out of space, and they remind you how big the Earth is compared to Jupiter, compared to the sun. And in those moments, there might only be 2 seconds, but you suddenly remember, like, what? You mean we're on a floating speck of dust right now? But I think to be really in tune is to remember that all the time.
Yeah,
And these
absolutely.
things, though, these things that we carry on our shoulders, if you remember, like what a tiny speck of dust we are, it's just an honor to be part of this cosmic play.
Mm.
And those our old myths, our ancestors, they had myths that addressed these things. And this is why I love Sun Ra. Sun Ra is one of my favorite jazz artists, and he was all about, you've got to make your own myth. You are already a living myth. You just look at the stats for what needed to happen for you to be here right now. And the butterfly effect of, if you turned left, this could be a whole different story, and one maybe you wouldn't even want to imagine. But grace has led us here. You are a living myth. Your story is so sacred, everyone's. And I just love when a conversation opens, even with a stranger, and they open up just 2 paragraphs of their story, and you're like, what the frick? Everyone is a walking bestseller. And just remember that. And it's just so sad that you've got people walking the streets like zombies, absolutely not realizing what gold they are, what gold dust this moment is, how precious you are, and how, yes. Yes.
That is so beautiful. And I'm happy that you brought up Sun Ra, because I actually didn't know him, and I've been watching a documentary, and I'm like, I would have totally been in that band with him. And like, I've always felt like the outsider like him. I'm like, it's just so beautiful to recognize that we are so much more, and that we do have this like channel guidance or this information, or to dare to be different. Like, I mean, I think he's such an inspiration, so beautiful what he communicates, and just like how he brings in the ancient wisdom and what you're saying. So if anybody hasn't checked him out, definitely look into him. I think he was definitely ahead of his time, right? I mean,
Oh,
just his
100.
story. Wow, I love that. It's like if we could all just be like that, like who we really are, right? I mean, that was his path, his story. We all have such beautiful wisdom and stories inside of us that I think it can be often we're too afraid to share it, you know?
But this is an essential part of the journey, is that fear.
Ah, that
The
is,
essential part of the myth is that you don't know.
oh my God,
It
exactly.
really is. And Joseph Campbell speaks about it when he speaks about the hero's journey. And that's essentially the same template for every hero's journey, whether you're talking about Persephone in Greek mythology, or you're talking about Krishna in Hindu mythology and religion. Like, there's always a journey, and there has to be a moment where you get a call. And that call is your call to action. And are you going to stand up and face your fear? You've been called by the universe. It's your summon. The knock is on the door.
God, that's so beautiful, because I don't
Are you
have
going
that
to go back
background.
to sleep, or are you going to open the door? Are you going to say yes? Are you going to
Oh,
say yes?
wow.
But that actually, the door is always there. The call is actually secretly always there. And when your intuition is on, it will be loud. If your intuition is off, your phone is on snooze. You're like, the doorbell battery is broken and you can't hear. Intuition will make sure that when you get the call and when you open that door, everything is set in motion just for you, because you're part of this amazing tapestry, because it's actually not just about you. You are connecting again to all of the people. And it's like mycelium, like the mushrooms underneath. You find your place without even needing to. People and situations will come to you, because this is what needs to happen. This was part of
Mm.
the
That
song.
is so amazing because I mean, all the background what you just said, the hero's journey and everything. For so long, I did that way. I answered the call and I felt very alone. And I felt like I had to break out of all this, like nobody understands me. I took that path alone. And I would have wished that I listened to some of these conversations 10, 15 years ago to guide me and to let me know that this is actually the way of the hero, right? This is the call that all of humans, all of us existing on this planet have this in us. And these conversations are so beautiful because I mean, I think, the opposite of being part of something is feeling very alone in those times
Yeah.
of the
But even
call.
that aloneness is important.
Yeah.
I mean, as a woman giving birth, that's whatever process you go through, as much as you can have a million people in the room with you, there is just you that's going through that process.
Oh, that's beautiful.
There's
Yeah,
only you that's going to have to face this. I think it's
absolutely.
going to be the same in death. As much as you can have everything around you, that whole journey is going to be just about you, and not in a selfish way, but these things are, this personal. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that you speak about through your myth and storytelling, cosmic storytelling, you definitely integrate like death as a part of the story. And I feel I relate to that. I often think of that and think, how am I reflecting when I'm going through this experience? And I feel like life is so beautiful with that in mind, like not being afraid to have this discussion
Yeah.
that, the journey ends at one point, and how am I really gonna look back and reflect? Did I answer the call, or will I come back and experience this experience again, right?
Even that understanding the big journey of death, but also the little deaths that need to happen in our relationships, with our spouses, with our children, with ourselves, the dying that happens every time you get a new piece of wisdom that changes your worldview. There has to be a shedding in order for you to unveil the wings more and more and more. And so you get more height. There is always going to be a letting go of the dead skin.
Mm.
And so that's why the dying and understanding dying in that way is important. And then we also have respect for other people who are going through their processes, because everyone is on a spectrum of death. And so even in one's ignorance, one can understand that you're going through you've got a lot of a lot of shedding to do. I love you and I pray for you on your journey, you know.
I love you're doing a lot of shedding. Okay, you're in your shedding process.
So much shedding. Oh, babe, exfoliating time. Mamma mia.
Oh my God, that is so powerful. That's so true. And especially, I mean, now this awakening, what do you feel like? I mean, do you feel like this is a collective awakening? What is your perspective right now on life?
I do think that with technology, the next generation are very much more clued up than we ever were. Earlier, maybe. If I have discussions about consciousness with an 18-year-old, they'll get me. And I love that. I love that about music, because it means it's very multi-generational. And so when you're in the green room, behind the stage, and all the musicians are there chatting, we often have very deep conversations. I should record them.
You
And it's
should.
wonderful to have, these different insights from these rappers and from these drummers and from these newly, started saxophonists. But the philosophy behind it's beautiful. There is an understanding. There is a real need to feed something, because I feel like there's an emptiness sooner for them, a loss of innocence sooner for younger people, because of social media, because of all of the things that are now filling their minds faster and more rapidly. So I I have hope that everyone is on a journey. I would never want to pick a fruit before it's ripe. And I
Mm.
know everyone has their own process. I don't know if I believe in a moment where there is going to be this utopia where everyone's enlightened and walking in love. I don't ever think that was the purpose of this planet. I think this planet is a learning space. And so this is why patience and love is important. Everyone that's here has something that they need to work through, and grace to them. And when they do work through it, they're going to be bringing light here, and then they're going to go. And that's also a joyful thing, because I think, like the Pope, it's sad that he's dead, but I also feel like when someone like that does pass, they don't really pass. Actually, part of their soul feeds into more people. It's like they break into 10,000 and actually their light becomes bigger, and it becomes an honor that they were ever here. It's not that we must be sad that they are gone, but just grace that they were here and their light shone through us. And thank you for that now peace that you are in my heart. You were the hope, and now I am the hope.
Yes, absolutely. It's continuously like being reborn. But yeah, definitely in terms of what I feel about what's happening, what I feel internally and what I see in just my community is these conversations about spirituality and energy work and having access to these codes, to having access to these channels, to being able to see ourselves differently, be in the moment. I mean, this for me, it feels so much like home. So it's kind of like coming back home. And from that perspective, I feel, oh God, finally, like, again, coming out of the tunnel. But I think that gives me definitely a lot of hope, just that we can have these discussions and see ourselves as the multidimensional beings that we are. And that through creative expression, I mean, you are surrounded on a daily basis, is that these are people tapping into something within themselves, right?
Yeah, holding platform for that is important, especially now. I think AI could have a very sinister effect on the next generation, in that when it becomes so easy that you could just tap in, make a soul song without the journey. It's a bit sad because, like we say, that journey is actually the whole purpose, like the joy that you get, the unlocking that happens. And so I don't know if you've seen someone do this, but if they actually cut a cocoon open without letting the butterfly struggle, the butterfly will just die. Like somehow, actually, even though it's breaking free and it looks like it's a struggle and it's painful and you want to help it, that struggle is important. The artist journey is important. Actually, that the not that I'm saying glorifying struggle at all, but much like birthing, it's a joy, obviously, to produce an angel, but it's a journey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I get it totally. It is insane to think. I mean, I never really thought about it from an artist perspective, what they feel about this new technology in terms of producing art. But I do feel like there's enough themes out there for humanity to express themselves, right? Like all of just, so much of the hard times that we're experiencing as humanity is also this channel of creativity is extremely important to process and to break out of the fear paradigm and to activate, continue, whether it is through help from AI, but we need to process a lot. There's so much happening. So
yeah, help from AI is amazing, but over dependence on it. And, being an artist isn't really actually just about making art. I think it's a life. It's a life of always reflecting, because these conversations are important. It's not that we have this conversation and I turn around and just live my life like without every word having a meaning. Every word has a meaning. This moment is precious, as you say. Everything that you do is part of your art. You are your walking art,
we are walking artists.
And so when you produce things, these are just like little trophies of the journey. That's all they are. And people want to invest in that, or they love your journey, and that's great. But you are the art.
Yes.
So you're a constant spokesperson. And sometimes God tricks you. It might be a homeless person that comes up to you, and that's God. It's like, so you say that you have integrity in this moment. Are you talking to God right now? It doesn't mean I always give money to a homeless person, but do I have respect and see divinity in them? Yes. Yes, I do. Everyone. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And I think also, I just thought like, we all have our morning routines or like mindset conversations are going on, but I just feel like waking up and like making an intention to recognize with love that there's an end to this journey, as Jessica is who I am, and that I'm more awake. I'm like, how am I gonna, and then recognizing what am I creating? Like, dude, this, you know what I mean? Like, not out of fear, but out of excitement. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Like, I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna expand. I'm gonna intentionally put good vibes into the frequency of humanity and have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to instill in our daily routine.
Big time to wake up and give destiny its due. I woke up today, and there are many people that didn't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you have for me? I don't necessarily. I loved the bio that you did for me, that you read out for me earlier. And a friend said to me the other day, like, oh yeah, you force all of these things, like you make it, you just want it and you make it happen. And I was just like, wow, I've never thought of it like that, because I don't think that at all. Actually, it's been about just being present and receiving what needs to happen. And there is no struggle. But when you're very clear what, what the vision is, uh, if you are aligned, there isn't a struggle, there is no forcing. I don't need to beat anything into existence. Some sculptures say that they see the image of what they were sculpting, even in just that rectangular box. It was just, they saw it, and then they moved towards it. And then you can't take credit, because actually I saw it there, but I was used as a vessel. I saw it there, and I just did whatever my intuition told me to. It told me to dig in here, and it said a little tap here, and then this came, and I'm grateful to have been a vessel and to have been present in those 5 hours to channel what needed to be produced. Like this podcast, it was always there, I think, and it's just about you tuning in now to what has to happen. It will happen. This is the song, baby.
Oh, amen. And like you say, it doesn't matter if a lot listen to it, a little listen to it. This is like walking. So I feel like there's such a beautiful grounding and living with purpose. I mean, it really is about living with purpose. It's a different experience in going through life than just going through life, right? Like actually with that light inside and that excitement. Um,
Yes.
it's definitely so beautiful. And you work, I mean, I was also checking out the Ori jams. Oh, I wish I was in London. That looks amazing. What a beautiful purpose. And like I did learn a little bit about the culture and the history behind Ori, like this tapped into intuition. I mean, I think that's always been relevant in all facets of religion or anything, but the fact that you guys do that with intention, what is it like there? What's the vibe? I mean, everybody knows the mission statement, let's just say, or like, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So the idea is that you're kind of stripped butt naked, and you, not
Love
literally, sorry,
it.
on a soul level, where you have to listen. You have to be present, and you have to listen, and someone might play a C on the key, and you've got to find your space in it. And it's just amazing how something comes from nothing, and we all experience that. They say that painting is decorating space, and sound is decorating time, and so we rise together, and it's just a very sacred experience to absolutely be so scared. So before we do this, I suffer from terrible anxiety, crippling anxiety. But like I say, I don't know if we recorded this bit, but the idea that one is an alchemist when you're an artist, I know whenever I feel that just means, wow, creator wants me to say something big. Creator wants this energy to be big. So I always give thanks for feeling that. But yeah, to walk in the unknown and to save each other. I feel it like we save each other. We don't compete. There is no space for competition when you are composing in the moment, because you go off, no one, we are carrying each other. And you reflect maybe something that the saxophone played, and the drummer holds you as you hold that note, and you just feel held. And it's, you might not know any of the people there, but you have just made passionate love, and you don't know each other's name, but
Wow.
yes. So we hold space for that, and it's important. It's really, really important. Not just for the music, but for the metaphor, for what that unveils in your life. Because when you step in the unknown in any space, it has an effect on your whole life. Whether you work in an office in the daytime, you're able to step into the unknown. You're able to do something outside of your comfort zone, whether it's finding love, whether it's your relationships. It opens doors on so many different levels. So just the active step of stepping in the unknown will change your life.
Completely. That's so beautiful. I mean, I want to talk about the unknown really quickly, but before that, just it makes me so happy to just get that key ingredient that you also experience this fear, or that you have shifted, alchemized this energy into being something that's actually the guide, the call to do it instead of the contraction. So it is like this energy, because that fear is so real, but I love it. I kind of am in there with you that actually that's where you got to go. That's where you got to go, where that when that happens. And
How
so
scary is that? And I hate it every time. I think it's like going to the gym. I hate going to the gym. I
oh,
freaking hate it. I hate it. But I love it. I love it. I love it and I hate it. And knowing that I've got this blank canvas in front of me and I've got all these paints, I love it. I love it and I hate it. It's so scary. Or I've got a song to do. Oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? I write songs all the time, but no matter whether it's in a setting where I'm working with, in therapy and writing songs with people, or whether it's on my private or I'm doing it with Ori, I am scared and I want to die. I genuinely want the whole world to just swallow me up. And then I surrender. And I start. It just starts with a line. It starts with it starts with I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And then something comes. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I feel good. Oh, okay, that works. And you can throw away everything. You can. It doesn't matter. And in the creative process, sometimes I've worked where we just vomit out every idea. Rubbish everything, but you must say it, even if it's the worst idea ever, but do it. Just let the water flow. And then from that, you can curate, but you need something to work with. And I guess actually I'm a curator. In terms of style, I'm very I'm sorry, I didn't make an effort for your show. I love you so much.
Oh my God, don't worry. I did a goal for Sunrise.
I love this.
So I
am in full appreciation of this. Okay. If anyone appreciates the vibe that you're bringing out right now, baby, I love it.
I am.
Okay. All day. It's important.
All right. Thank you.
And I think it is very important to express yourself, even outwardly, not in an ego way, not in in a narcissistic way. For you, my God, this is the last time here. Why the hell am I keeping? I want to feel like a goddess today. I ask myself, how do I want to feel today? I don't just go, I'm like, how do I want to feel today? Let things serve you. Let your words serve you. Let your clothes serve you. Let even a necklace that just makes you think of love, then you use that if you're not feeling great. And it doesn't mean that you're wearing gold all the time, but just give something to you that gives you a little bit of strength, because we've got to be gentle. It is not easy. It's a dark world, and being the love is not easy,
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that. Absolutely. And I think, we've crossed paths for over 10 years and living in smaller communities in comparison to now you being in London. What level of advice do you have for somebody that it's not so easy to show that love, or in a smaller community where maybe it's not so open to these ways?
Now, I appreciate that. But I don't think God makes a mistake. I think that when you are in tune with your intuition and your higher self, it's not that you rewind to 15 years where everything is better and whatever. It's actually understanding why you're here. And there's a reason why you're here now. It might not be for, tomorrow might be a different one, but there's a reason why you're here. And so that reflecting of what you're bringing here, because no one else, you can't await change. You have to be the change. You have to be it. When you come to a certain level, and I don't say this for everyone, because I know there are points over the journey where, that's a different lesson. But yeah, at one point you've got to understand that now this is you. Okay.
Exactly.
Don't wait for the other people. Bless them. Bless them.
That's amazing. Yeah, I agree with you. When you're so in love with God, with self, then you're just your own walking vessel of beautifulness. Like that's where I'm now.
It's our mothership, wherever you are. It's the mothership. Hello, we are home.
Mothership. Oh my God, that is amazing. That's amazing, Sunshine. And so I'm going to be playing your amazing song that you played before, which is so beautiful. I mean, you've written many songs and have a lot of music where people can listen to, but this one particularly about community and asking for help from God. I mean, when did you write that, or what's the inspiration behind that?
It's because of the songwriting. I work with mothers, so it's just so beautiful to work with mothers who aren't songwriters, who are going through really challenging times in life, even with housing or with relationships, or mental health, and to alchemize it, to give them the tools to alchemize it, and to turn. I mean, we've got a song about like vomit, baby vomit, about nappies, about just
fun.
snot.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It can be so fun, but also songs that are affirmative about what a holy job it is to raise the next generation. And we just do not get any kind of, we don't get the village support that I think is so necessary, because these aren't just our children, these are the children of the planet, and they are the kings and queens. They are. And it's so hard to remember that sometimes, when you've got the whole world on top of you and no one understands that if you want change to happen, it starts right here. And you can spend millions of pounds on jail systems, or on education, whatever, but it starts with the mother, with the baby, with mental health. And yeah, I love mothers.
Beautiful. Oh my God, absolutely. To nurture the mothers, right? Because, it's about the baby. The happy mothers. Yeah, it's so important. And I agree with you. I mean, so many of us are blessed in many ways. And then to be able to give back and find ways that we can, what comes from our heart? How can I help in any way? I think is really also our time to do that. And it's just so beautiful, everything that we've talked about. I mean, I think we can continue talking forever, but I think that the main thing that I take from this is that we're all one, obviously, all with a purpose, all with a call, all with this interconnection, all with these themes, and that on the other side of the unknown, which actually that's what I wanted to really quickly talk about, but just like with Joe Dispenza, and quantum physics supports that the unknown is where it is, right? The unknown is where the magic is. And if we could just start to like recognize that actually don't break away from the routine, because on the other side is where all of your dreams are, or all of the magic is, or the inspiration, or the guidance. And you walk that path. Right?
Yeah, it's like Sunra says, his story is his story. And we know the story of colonization. And we know that it's always the victors that get to write down what happened, and not the ones who were slaughtered, But my story is the mystery. And there's an even deeper story, a story that started 13 billion years ago. Do you know what I mean? With plasma gas and explosions and subatomic matter. This is all part of our story. And since then, the universe has been expanding. This is all we know. And we are part of that expansion. And we don't know whether it's going to contract again and turn into nothing. And all of these things that we're experiencing will be then again gone. And maybe it will be born again. We are part of this crazy song, one that our brains cannot comprehend, but it is a sacred journey. But when you plug into that rather than the history, which is only a few thousand years old, few hundred years old, decades old, this story, okay, fine, they can keep that story, but the mystery, that's mine. That's me. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. The mystery is my story, with Sun Ra, who I think that it's just so beautiful that he channeled those words and just like shares that, and that we can all remember that, because it's about the moment, as you said, listening, being. That is where it all is. And it's so magical. Oh my God, girl. Well, I'm so grateful, thankful, so that we had this conversation. You are just really such an amazing light to the world, and you embody a creatix. You embody this amazingness, and I'm so grateful. And where can people like catch? I mean, you have stuff out there right now on YouTube, right? Or potentially?
Not really, actually. I don't, yeah. Things come, but I feel like whatever I produce, it has to be not just sounds, not just for making sounds. There must be a purpose behind everything. As you'll see from my songs, I'm very conscious, and at the moment will be right. But I'm loving my journey right now, and I love sharing that journey with you. Thank you so much. And I'm just a vessel. And I'm grateful that God chose me as a vessel. That's it. But this is not me, but this is everybody. And may everyone's journey be beautiful, and just be gentle with yourself. because we
Mm.
are loved and we do belong here, and everything
Oh,
you're experiencing is a sign, good and bad. Okay, the bad
right.
things are just like, honey, just turn right.
Yeah, exactly.
Just turn away, that's okay. You can just turn, it's okay. Just make every step a prayer. Okay, you'll be fine.
Oh my God, I love it. That's so amazing. And you are, although your music is you're contributing in so many ways to this Ori group, to your myth storytelling, to the children and everything. So the creative outlet, it's just you're saying for your divine timing for the next level with sing, because your voice is so beautiful.
Oh, bless
So
you.
please do
Bless
share
you.
it.
Yes, thank
All right, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this amazing conversation and stay tuned for more. Have a beautiful day.
I do get stressed. I can't do this alone. I'm on my knees. Creator, please, won't you help me?